Time to check in with the SU starting at quarterback Kyle McCord. Kyle, man, you got one under your belt. How was before the game? When we talk about the game itself, everything leading up to it, the quad walk, the atmosphere, walking into the renovated dome. What did that feel like for you and the other guys?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think first getting off the bus and doing the quad walk and seeing all the fans, it was a great turnout. I think that's exactly what Coach Fran wanted. And then I felt like the environment in the dome, especially early on, was electric. The student section was packed out. I feel like the fans did a really good job when we were on defense, making some noise. So I feel like for a first game, we set the bar pretty high.
Now, for you, did you have friends and family there in from out of town to come to watch?
Yeah, a bunch of family came out. They're all happy sitting inside in the dome. It was my first real game indoors, so it was a good time for sure.
Oh, you hadn't played an indoor game in a dome stadium prior to this? Or?
I think the only one was the Peach Bowl in the Falcon Stadium in Atlanta, but other than that was it.
And it's loud. I know that. I mean, numbers-wise, it's not as big as some of the other stadiums, but you get everybody inside like that.
Yeah.
And 30 or 40,000 can sound like 50 or 60,000.
Yeah, it's a different type of noise. It traps all the noise in, and I feel like it echoes a little bit, which I think, in my opinion, makes it louder than some of the stadiums that have 75, 80,000 people in it. So I'm just thankful when I'm out there in the field. They're quiet down a little bit, but I know for opposing quarterbacks, it can definitely be a little bit of a challenge.
For the first time, did it throw anybody off just a little bit to kind of get used to that with the full stadium and the noise?
We had a few practices in the dome, and they would play music and try to simulate what it would feel like in a game. But I feel like the fans did a great job. I feel like they definitely gave us a little bit of advantage on Saturday, which is what you want for a home game.
Now, to start the game, and we always joke about Mike Tyson's famous quote, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yep. Yeah.
But the opening sequence and opening series, just opening game, getting used to things, a little bit of nerves, excitement, all coming together all at once.
Yeah. I think on both sides of the ball, not the ideal start. I feel like the defense did a good job of holding them to 3 points, I think, on the first two drives. And then the offense at 3-and-out on the first drive obviously isn't ideal. But I feel like we started to get going there in the second half, ended with the 2-minute drive. So I think the biggest thing, kind of the message this week, is just, you can't have a slow start, have to start fast. And so that's been a point of emphasis.
And there seemed to be, just listening to the game and watching the game, no sense of panic at all from Coach Fran or the coaching staff after the start of the game, and then leading up to that 2-minute drill.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2-minute drill itself, you guys executed that perfectly. But the series before that, with Ohio going down, and coaches' clock management really was the key to let that 2-minute drill work.
Yeah, I think kudos to them. I feel like Coach Fran and the staff did a really good job of managing that, calling some timeouts, and we were in defense to give the offense enough time to go out there and put a drive together at the end of half, which was huge. But that was something that we've been practicing all year long, especially in fall camp, just putting ourselves in different 2-minute scenarios, different situations. And, literally the first time it could have presented itself at the end of the first half in the first game, it did. And I feel like we did a really good job on both sides of the ball, getting a stop on defense, coaches managing the clock, and then the offense going down and scoring.
And it was great to see Trevor Pena back, and obviously he's had the injuries over the last couple of seasons, but to see him and his potential, and then give you another guy to throw at, you've got to be thrilled at seeing him back healthy.
Yeah, he's the Swiss Army knife of the offense. I think that you look at what we do on offense, he fits in extremely well in a lot of different areas. Obviously, seeing what he did in the past game, catching 2 touchdowns for 70, 80 yards, something like that. And then punching it on 4th and 1 with the little sweep in the fourth quarter, which was huge, which kind of, I think, gave us a 3 or 2 possession advantage there. So he's a dog, man. He's a really good player, and I'm happy that he's healthy.
And then OG speaks for himself. I mean, just an impressive showing by Arande, as that should be no surprise to anybody, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, just another day in the office for OG. He shows up and does his job, not super loud about it, but, 100 yards and a touchdown, and then blocked really well on top of that. Just kind of what you expect from him at this point. I said it and I'll say it again. I think he's the best tight end in college football.
After the game, what was the message from Coach Fran?
I think obviously happy that we got the win, but on both sides of the ball, we definitely had areas that we could have been better in. But I think that's the exciting point. I think Ohio's a really good team, and anytime you can beat somebody by 16 points and still feel like you left a lot of money out there in the field, that's an exciting thing to get back and get to work. And so that was kind of his message was enjoy the win, but we still can be so much better than what we showed.
Now, did you watch the Georgia Tech Florida State game from, I guess, 2 weekends ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. And I feel like Georgia Tech is a really good team, 2-0 for a reason. And they played well in that first game, especially for the first game of the year. Really strong showing on both sides of the ball. I feel like they have a really good defensive scheme, coached well. They play tough. And so it's going to be a really good one in the Dome on Saturday.
Quarterback Kyle McCord. Kyle, always great. Go Orange. Good luck on Saturday, and we'll check in again next week.
Yes, sir.